All right, what's up, everybody? Okay, so today we're going to do a midday market recap and talk about some of the trades from this morning. So today is day 5 of the small account challenge, and I'm finishing up $148, which is pretty good. I mean, that's another 12% gain. I started the morning with $1,201, and I'll start tomorrow right around 1350. So this is up about 130% since I started the small account on January 3rd with $583. So last week I made a little over $600, and my target this week is to, if I can, to make about 1,000. And we'll see. Obviously, I need to make 200, 250 a day before commissions in order to have that happen. Today I made $212 before commissions. So once again, commissions are a pretty big piece of my profits right now, which is really not ideal. All right, so I'm going to show you guys my P&L for today. You can see right here, $148 profit, 212 realized before commissions. So that means commissions today are about $63, which is pretty brutal. I mean, that's really not ideal. I don't like commissions to be that high, but this is part of the deal with trading with a small account. When you trade with a small account, your commissions are going to be, just a bigger proportion and of your profits. So it's, I think, one of the areas where trading with a small account is just that much more difficult. You know that, you know, every trade you take, you have a commission on. So, if I buy, what doesn't matter if I buy 100 shares or if I buy 1,000 or if I buy 10,000, I'm still going to pay InsureTrader $4.95 per trade. All right, so and let me drag up so you guys can see, for those of you watching on screen share. That's my P&L for today, $148. And yeah, so with the commissions, I mean, this is just part of the deal with a small account. The commissions are going to be a bigger piece of the pie. And that's going to continue to be the case until I can increase my share size. Now, once I'm able to get my share size a little bit higher and start taking, 2,500 shares or 3,000 shares, when I make 5, 10, or 15 cents, I'm going to have a bigger profit from that same move in the stock, and that's going to offset the commissions. So, on a day like today, commissions are, again, about a third of my profit, which is annoying, but is just part of the deal with trading with a small account. I think the biggest issue, though, is that for traders who are getting started and funding their first account, they don't realize how the bar and how the odds are sort of stacked against them. It makes it so much more difficult to be successful because you have to be really, really focused on every single trade you take. So today in the small account, I took my 14th trade, and it's my 14th consecutive winner. I've had 14 trades in a row, and all of them have been winners. They haven't all been big winners. Some of them have been small winners. In fact, today, my smallest trade was only a $9 winner. So it didn't work out the way I wanted it to, but I was able to get out quickly, and that's important. I got in for a breakout. It didn't work. I stopped out with a 1 cent profit on 900 shares. Now, that didn't actually turn into a profit after commissions. It was actually a loss, but it was still a winning trade in terms of my entry and my exit. So, one of the things that I've been able to, kind of do in the last couple days is look at this account as an opportunity to exercise self-control and patience. And so today, patience was a big one because I had a few stocks on my watch list, and I'll go over those in a minute, but none of them really panned out. None of them really ended up opening up or working. So, by 9:45, 10 a.m., I was sitting here and I didn't have anything that looked good. I think, let's see, what time was my first trade? My first trade was at 9:52. So that was when I got in 9:53, got in PTX. And that was usually I take my first trade within the first 15 minutes. So to have my first trade be, not until 20 minutes into the day is a little unusual. It's an indicator that the market is a little bit, a little bit slower. So, and I was saying, you know what? I don't need to trade a lot. If I can just focus on taking, even just one trade today, one good trade is all I need. So I got in CNAT and I made $84. And I was like, all right. Or sorry, I got in PTX and I made $84 on my first trade on PTX. So I'll show you the chart on that one. I was watching it pre-market and it was a gapper. So, kind of was fitting into my watch list, watching it long pre-market over the high of 321. So I'll show you guys who are watching on the live feed. You can see here, this moved up on Friday up to a high of, let's see, it looks like 343. It pulled back, and then pre-market it was gapping up and had a pre-market high of 321. So I was watching it long over those pre-market highs, but then just before the bell rang, it spiked up to 350. The market opened and it dropped down. So I was like, well, looks like another setup that's ruined. But then it started to squeeze up here in this candle, and I jumped in here at 340 and rode this momentum up to the high of 355. So on that one, I was able to capture a nice little profit. It pulled back. I got back in for a second trade on it. So total $132 on that name between two trades. Actually, it was two trades. Yeah, it was actually two trades. The $84 winner was that was on CNAT that I was thinking of. So, on PTX, $130, not bad, and I was kind of like, all right, that gives me a little bit, it's a little bit of a cushion. That's kind of me getting started. At the same time, I was watching ETRM. ETRM is the stock that today is up another 100%. Pre-market high was 1140, and this squeezed up to just under $19 per share. So I'll show you that one as well. Now, the problem with ETRM is that it's on restriction at SureTrader, so I'm not able to use my margin on it. All right, so with my account here, I have $1,200 in equity, and I've got $8,057 in buying power. That's the buying power right there. But I can't use that on ETRM. I'm not allowed to. I can only use the amount that I have in equity. So $1,200 times a $12 stock, I can only buy 100 shares. I can't make money on that. I cannot make money with 100 shares. I can't make enough to overcome the commissions unless I make 50 cents or 60 cents per share. But that's just, it's setting the bar too high. So I said, forget it. I'm not going to trade that one. And the problem is that, this ended up squeezing up another, 100% today. And I think everyone's attention was on ETRM. The problem for me was that even to trade in my regular account, ETRM was not a clean stock. It really wasn't easy to trade. You'd look at it and you'd think, oh, this must have been super easy. It really wasn't. So I'll show you, for those of you here watching, right here, the stock, I was like, okay, I like this at 1020 for a break of $15. I got my order ready to get in at 15. It pops up here to 1520, and let's look at the 1 minute chart. This is what it did at the breakout point. At the breakout point, it broke, it squeezed up to 1520, and then it dropped down to 1430. That's one of those moves that just can make you take your laptop and throw it out the window because it's so frustrating. It makes no sense. It's not logical. It's not what you expect to happen at the breakout point. It breaks, drops, and then starts to open up. And when you look at the 1 minute chart, you can see a lot of these candle wicks where it squeezed up, dropped down, squeezed up, dropped down. And it was just super, super choppy. So I did end up taking one trade on that in my regular account, and I promptly lost like 290 bucks. So you know what? Doesn't matter. My focus right now is trading the small account. I don't care too much about if I make or lose 100 bucks or 200 bucks in my big account. That one, I got in ETRM looking for a bigger move and not trying to scalp 5 or 10 cents, but I wanted to see like 50 cents or a point or something like that. Didn't happen, so whatever. But the problem with ETRM is that everyone's attention was on that stock. Everyone's attention was on a stock one of the ones that was the most choppy and difficult to trade today. And so as a result, other setups didn't end up working out very well. This was kind of like, let's say, like the new jungle gym on the playground. You know, it was new last week, but everyone's still really excited about it. You know, and someone today brought in a brand new seesaw. It's brand new, but people are like, listen, I don't care about a seesaw. On any other day, people would have been like, oh, this is the new thing on the playground. I want to check it out. But because ETRM is so cool, everyone is still focused on that one. You know what? I think the majority of traders who traded this today probably lost money on it. And, you know, if you finish any day in the market green, even if it is only by $148 in my SureTrader account, statistically, you're doing better than 90% of the traders out there. 90% of the traders out there will not make money consistently as a trader. So, you know what? Even if you do only make $50 or you're only making $100, you're doing something right. The problem is stocks like ETRM, you know, they trigger that fear of missing out, right? And that's that greed, that emotion that starts to rise up because you see this stock making a big move and you want to get a piece of it. And then you're sitting there thinking, how am I the only guy who didn't get a piece of it? You know, you see people on Twitter or StockTwit saying, yeah, I made $5,000, I made $8,000. And you're like, you know, gosh, this is so frustrating. I'm the guy who couldn't get a profit on it or who sat here just staring at it while it went up higher and higher and higher. If you didn't have what you thought looked like a safe entry, then you shouldn't have taken the trade. And you did the right thing by sitting on your hands. So, you know, I took a stab at it today. It faked me out and whatever. No big deal. I didn't, you know, bet the farm on it. I was very conservative with how much I was willing to risk because I knew this one was going to be choppy. So I lost a couple $100. I'm not going to sweat it. But, you know, the bigger frustration was that this made the other stocks I was watching, like PTX and CNAT, you know, less active, less volatile because everyone was watching ETRM. So PTX, you know, a nice little follow-through trade on that, a small profit, and then CNAT started popping up on the high-day scan. This one has a nice daily chart. Because of the way it's come down to the 9 moving average and is now bouncing off that level, you can see here, this is what I like for a daily chart breakout. So, you know, a good setup, but it just, you know, couldn't really hold those levels over 550. I was able to still make $80 on it. So, you know, today's a day where, like I said, I'm closing the day green. It's a good day in the SureTrader account. Yes, commissions relatively are a bigger piece of the pie for every trade I take. That's going to continue to be the case for, you know, the first few weeks as I'm building up this account. And it's just something that I have to deal with. I mean, I have to be very, very disciplined. I have to be very smart about the stocks I'm willing to trade because every single trade I take, I'm paying that commission. So if it's not a trade that has the potential to give me a $40, $50, or $100 winner, I can't take it. Because even if I make $50 after commissions, it's probably only going to be $35. And, you know, I'm fine with a $35 winner, but the problem is, let's say I make $50 before commission, and I was like, well, I'm gonna risk 50 to make 50. But then the winner is only $35 because of the commission. But guess what? The loser is 50 plus commission is 65. So now I have losses that are much bigger, almost twice as big as the winners, and I need to be at 65% just to break even and 75, 80% in order to profit. Right? Now the cards are stacked against me. And that's what happens to a lot of beginner traders. They don't realize the impact that commissions are going to have as they're getting started and how, you know, how much more difficult it makes it. So at this point, for me, I have to focus on taking 1 to 2 trades a day, maybe 3 to 4 if I'm having a really good day or I'm seeing a lot of setups. And then, you know, slow down, step back, take the profit, be happy with the profit, and wait for tomorrow. So that's kind of the game plan. Obviously for today, happy to finish with $150 or whatever it is. You know, and the approach is just looking at the stocks that are gapping up, that have volume, the relative volume leaders. Almost every single day, the stocks that make the 20 to 30% intraday moves will have the highest relative volume in the market. That's important. High relative volume, that means lots of traders, like all of us, are watching these stocks. And that means when they have the proper bull flag or flat top breakout, they're more likely to resolve in the direction we expect. Now, it's not always true. There are certainly times where, we get false breaks like we got on ETRM. That's more common on stocks as they get crowded, stocks that are kind of overdone, that are running on no news, that kind of thing. But on stocks that are, a fresh breakout, fresh news, fresh headlines, that's usually when we see the clean follow through. So for me, all I need to do is look at the top 5 gappers. I expect that they'll be also the top 5 relative volume leaders. Those will be the top 5 stocks with the highest likelihood of moving 20 to 30% intraday. And then my job is just to find the entry, to find the first pullback, the first bull flag, the first opportunity to get into this strong stock and ride that momentum. If I can do that twice a day, I can do well. And even here in the first week, the first 5 days of trading in the SureTrader account, in these 5 days, I'm up now about $760. I mean, that's putting me on track to make $35,000 a year, even if I didn't increase the size of the account. If I kept drawing out money and resetting it to $500 every single week, which I'm not going to do, but even if I did that, that would put me on track to making $35,000, which is fantastic from a $500 account size. What I'm going to do is build the account up. Once I get to $4,000 or $5,000, I'll probably keep it at that level and then start drawing profits out of it, saving the profits to put them into a speed trader account with $25,000. All right, so in any case, that's about it for today. A couple notes that I had. The biggest one was about commissions, as I said. So make sure you trade smart and try to not let that fear of missing out really get to you. The people that put stuff on Twitter, they put their winners and stuff like that. You're seeing a disproportionate amount of winners because people don't usually put their losses on Twitter. So when people have a loss, they're not going to talk about it. So what you end up seeing are all these people who made money. But that's not an accurate representation of the way trading works. Most traders lose money. So if you're walking away today with even $10 or $50 in profit, you're doing well. I mean, that's a step in the right direction. It's just about doing that consistently. Once you're consistently making $50 a day, the only difference between making 50 a day and making 100 a day is share size. That's the only difference. Increasing your share size and you start to see bigger profits. And that's good because once you're consistently profitable, you can start making $300, $400, $500, $600 a day. The frustrating thing is that for traders who are like, look, I only want to make $50 a day. I'm not being, crazy about my expectations. It's frustrating because once you have the skill to make 50 a day, you're going to be able to make 100, 200, 300. The skill to even just consistently make $20 a day is what we're all working towards. That's the hard part. And I know that that's frustrating, but I'd encourage you guys to keep checking out my watch list each morning. I'm going to be looking at the top 5 stocks that I think have the potential to move 20 to 30%, and trading those in the first 2 hours. So right here at lunch hour, I'm done trading for the day. Gonna lock it up. So today's day 5, $148, up 130% on that account, and up 12% on the day. So overall, a pretty good day. Now, I want to make sure I answer some questions that you guys have. So Richard asked, why would SureTrader put restriction on ETRM? And they're doing that because SureTrader is trying to mitigate risk. I mean, they don't want to have any of us trading there blow up their account and do something really stupid. So, they're like, well, we're going to taper back the margin on this one because it's a really volatile stock. It's a stock that most beginner traders are probably going to lose money on. And, this is a day where if I opened our simulator and looked at the stocks that people are trading, I would guess that a lot of people, that our biggest losses would come from trades that people took in on ETRM. I'm going to open up the simulator here just to take a look. So, they do that on a lot of stocks. Some stocks even sort of have a running restriction where it's just always restricted. But again, it's to prevent traders from blowing up their accounts, and it helps them, reduce the likelihood of being on the hook for a trader who did something stupid. All right, so let's see. So the leaderboard today. Let's see. So this is our fantasy stock trader leaderboard. Look at some of the biggest losses. This guy's down $30,000 on ETRM, down $32,000. That's Brandon. Let's see. We've got Chad down $42,000 on ETRM. And, likely is that, well, he's actually just been trading this a ton. So tons and tons of trades, and he's probably still holding some short positions from last week. A lot of traders get into that habit. They're like, oh, this thing's up so much, it's got to roll over. This trader's down $27,000. And you think, gosh, that's a crazy amount of money. Doesn't take much to lose $27,000. I mean, it really doesn't. With a stock this volatile, it's up 100% today. So, the biggest losers are on ETRM. The biggest winners, if I look here, they're also ETRM. So again, that shows you this one's up 13,000 on ETRM. This tells you that, yes, this is a stock that you can make money on if you're smart about how you trade it, but the potential to be wrong and, the result of what's going to happen if you're wrong is that you could lose a lot of money. So today in the simulator, we've got, looks like 242 traders, and 120 are green and 120 are red. So right about 50%, which is actually, for beginner traders, not that bad, considering most traders will fail to make money at a rate of only 10% succeeding. So it's actually not horrible there. But in any case, yeah, that's that's the reason Sure Trader is going to do that. It's to protect from having traders do really crazy stuff. ETRM, no options on that one. A lot of these thinly traded stocks don't have options, so you wouldn't be able to trade options even if you wanted to. And yeah, thanks, Vlad. I saw what you said there about being consistent. And that's kind of the thing right now, is just trying to be super consistent, not trying to push my luck, just one trade at a time, $80 here, $100 there, knowing that all adds up. For those of you on screen share, I'll just show you the leaderboard here. I wasn't showing it on screen share a second ago. So you can see biggest winners up 12,000, 10,000, 6,000, and the biggest losers. And the stocks that are generating those big whips, ETRM. And we see this every time there's a big stock, whether it's DRYS or it's GLBS, whatever it is. That's the stock that people want to trade. They see the potential, but it's very, very difficult to trade it properly. All right, so let's see, what else? Yeah, and Andre, that's the thing, ETRM, it draws you in. You see this potential, and that's the fear of missing out. That's that emotion taking over. You look at it and you're like, oh man, this thing, I've got to be able to get a piece of it. I mean, it's just running up, it's moving faster and faster, and it draws you in, but it's a trap. Almost always it's a trap. You end up buying way too high and then stopping out and taking a big loss on it. So I took a stab at it in my regular account, lost a couple $100, and I'm fine with that. I didn't do anything crazy. I didn't take a lot of risk on it, but a lot of traders will get into being overly aggressive on those setups, and then that's when they really get into trouble because they've mismanaged risk. And that's the thing. Listen, for me, I could be a trader right now. I have 100% accuracy in my Sure Trader account. 14 trades and 14 winners. But you know what? If I mismanage my risk on the 15th trade, I could lose in one trade $1,200, and I could blow up the entire account. I could be a trader who has 99% accuracy and has blown up his account. That's the thing, that's the hardest part about trading, is that it only takes one lapse in judgment to throw so much progress out the window. And I know that. I mean, I know that every day I'm sitting down here that I have to be super careful about what I'm going to trade. And so it's good that ETRM is restricted, because that's the type of stock that, you could very quickly lose 50 cents or a dollar with 1,000 shares. And, that's, like I showed you, that breakout point where we went up to 1530 and then down to 1430, that's $1,000 loss with 1,000 shares. Now, granted, I don't have $15,000 in buying power, and by the time I have that, my account will be larger. So if I did take $1,000 loss, it wouldn't blow me up, but it would still be pretty bad. All right, so any other questions that you guys have? And yeah, I publish the watch list for students each morning, so that's available on our website. And you guys can go to Warrior Trading and then check out the free trading tools and load those watch lists. Let's see, any other questions? GVO, yeah, with the reverse split, we traded that on Friday. I didn't want to trade it today. I mean, I thought maybe it would be okay over 470 pre-market, but then the bell rang and it just totally dropped down. So I'll show you this one here. Market opened and it just rolled over. So no trades on that one. Didn't give me the opportunity. I'd love to have a trade that I can really sink my teeth into, that I can take 2,000 shares with my small account and make 30 cents, have a $600 winner. So far, I haven't had one big winner in the small account. It's not because I haven't been looking at the right setups, it's just because, I don't know, none of them have really opened up, none of them have really worked. So it's only a matter of time, right? I keep stepping up to the plate. Eventually, something's really going to connect, but my strategy right now is to get in for the breakout. So I get in at the apex point, the point where I expect that volume is going to come in. So the bull flag, that's the first candle to make the new high. That's my entry. Stop is at the low or 10 cents, whichever's closer. Small risk. If it pops up immediately 30 cents, that's awesome. But lately, we've only seen them pop up 10 or 15 cents. I sell half, adjust my stop to break even, or sell the whole thing depending on how it looks. And yeah, Lee, I'm not using market orders. These are all limit orders. So I use a limit order to control the price that I'm willing to pay. If I use a limit order, then I can put in the limit, let's say, of 15.05. I press the buy button, and if it suddenly spikes to 15.50, maybe I won't get filled. But I definitely, with a market order, would get filled, and I might get filled at like 15.35 or 15.40 or even 15.50, and suddenly you've totally thrown, your profit loss ratio out the window because you got filled, 50 cents higher than you were expecting, right? And your stop is now that much further away. So that's why I don't use the market orders. And Stefan, explaining the break even. So for me, break even will be the price that I got in at. So if I get in at 350 and it pops up to 365, maybe I'll sell half and put a stop, break even at the rest. So, that means I took a little profit off the table, and if it comes back down and stops me out, break even, so be it. At least I walk away green on the name. By using that strategy, anytime I get into a stock at the apex point and it does break out 15, 20, 30 cents, it's almost guaranteed that it'll at least be a small winner. And that's what's been working well in the SureTrader account. It's just been unfortunate that we haven't had one, here in the first few days that's given me that big 20, 30, 40 cent winner. That would help me a lot right now because my account's so small, and every extra dollar I make increases my buying power times 6. So when I make, $100 today or whatever it is, 150, when I make that, it's multiplied by 6, and that's my new buying power. So, that makes a big difference. Today, my buying power, because of today's profit, my buying power is going to increase by about $900. So that means tomorrow, on a $3 stock, I can take an extra 300 shares, and I might be able to get up to 2,500 or 2,600 shares if I'm going to go, and be aggressive. I'll be aggressive when I see the A quality setup and take, large size. We just haven't happened to have seen a lot of really good setups and good setups that are within my price range, because that's the thing. We had a couple like XGTI this morning. I liked XGTI. It was gapping up here. I liked it over the pre-market high of 195. That's a perfect gap and go setup. An entry right here, pre-market high of 195 as soon as the bell rings. All right, that's the pre-market high. You buy when the bell rings. And we squeezed up from 195 all the way up to 220. The problem is that I can't trade that in SureTrader because you get no margin on stocks below $3. So no trade. I mean, I could trade it in my regular account, but my focus right now is building the small account and seeing, how long it takes me to get to $25,000. I mean, I want to do it as quickly as I can, obviously, but at the same time, it's more important that I do it in a way that's that doesn't risk me having something really bad happen. So I've got to be smart about every trade, and if I can only make 100 a day or 200 a day, it'll take a little longer, but that's the smart way to build an account. All right, so and when I'm selling, I do the same thing with a limit order. I put out the limit order, but I put it below the bid. So if the bid is 350, my limit order is at 345. It's a 5-cent offset below the bid. That way, if it does start to drop, I can still get filled, right? I'll still get my order filled, but I won't hopefully just have a giant washout. This is a problem though on stocks like ETRM because they can drop more than 5 cents really fast, and then I might not get filled. So you sort of, again, when you're trading stocks that are really volatile like that, you have to recognize that if you try to sell when it's dropping, the loss is almost always going to be magnified. All right, guys, so that's where we're finishing today. Overall, a decent day, decent start to the week. Green is good, and I'll be anxiously awaiting the opening bell tomorrow at 9:30, hoping that we have some good-looking gappers on the watch list and stocks that I think have the potential to open up and give me a nice winner. And I'll have $1,350 in my account tomorrow, about $8,000 in buying power. So I'll be able to take 2,000 shares on anything between $3 and $4, kind of a small range there, and then 1,000 shares on anything up to $8. I won't trade anything less than 500 shares, which means my max price would be $16 if I was able to use full margin. But on a stock like ETRM with no margin, I'm restricted to my current equity, which tomorrow will be $1,350. All right, guys, so I will see you all first thing tomorrow morning. If you guys have questions, feel free to email me, ross@warriortrading.com.
Let's be honest. If you made it this far, you must have really enjoyed that video. So what's stopping you? Subscribe right here and get email alerts anytime I upload new content. Until then, happy surfing!